All right, so we continue our journey. Hello, with
Yes, sir.
this. Uh, can you all hear me properly?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, quick review of what we have studied so far. You can see the presentation.
Yes, sir.
Hmm. So, we saw about the virtual networks. Meenal, you have gone through the recording, no earlier recording, right?
Yes, sir. I have gone through the recording, sir.
Great, nice. So, this is virtual networks. Uh, So in cloud, always the prefix notation is used. Okay, subnet mask is not used. So when we go on to Azure cloud, you'll find always the prefix notation is used. Like instead of 255, 255, 2550, it will be slash 24. 24 means 24 bits are fixed, remaining are changing. So this is called as
8 plus
CIDR.
8 plus 8.
So it's called as classless interdomain routing. Okay, that is the notation which is used. So for example, we'll be doing this kind of thing, like we'll take this network. It starts with the subnets only. Whatever network we set up in the Azure, it will be with the subnets only. It will work with the subnets. Okay. So subnet 1, subnet 2, like that, right? Means there'll be a bigger subnet, like if you go with class B network, for example, then we have to set up subnets like this with slash, like for example, slash 24. If we use slash 24 prefix, you don't have to do much calculation. We know that 16-bit is for the network part, 8-bit is for the subnet part, and remaining 8 bits for the host part. So without calculation, you can do the subnetting. 1, 2, 3, 4, subnet number 1, subnet number 2, like that. And slash 24 means we know that there is 256 hosts. Out of that, 2 is reserved, one for broadcast and one for network. But in Azure, you will find that it will reserve 5 addresses. 3 more addresses it will reserve for internal use. So it will show you only 251 hosts in Azure. In Azure, it is going to show it like this. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, एक मिनट मॉम का कॉल आ रहा है.
Yes, sir.
सर, हेलो.
जस्ट मिनट दिस मॉम का कॉल आया उसका, एक मिनट. Okay. Then we saw about the load balancer. What is the job of load balancer? That
Sir, it is used to increase the efficiency and also to distribute the
IP address
traffic that comes to different web apps
फास्ट होता
servers.
है एंड जो ये है नेट डिस्टर्ब नहीं होता है, फास्ट चलता है हमारा, एफिशिएंट वर्क करता है.
it will be faster. Actually, ये जो front end में एक public IP होगा. Why it is not coming up? The user will see the server as a public IP here like this, you know. ऐसा दिख रहा है ना?
एसक्यूएल सर्वर का जॉब होता है सिर्फ डेटा स्टोर करना, स्टोर ही करता है ना एसक्यूएल। एसक्यूएल जो है ये सिर्फ डेटा
SQL server will store the data,
स्टोर
yeah.
करता है।
So people will see the web server. Actually, most of the applications nowadays, they are web applications, right?
हाँ
So that is hosted on a web server. Web server can be Microsoft IIS server, which is Internet Information Server, or Apache server, which is Linux-based server. Okay, but if you host it only on one server, what will happen is like it will uh, one server means it is going to give only what do you say, it will get crowded, overcrowded with a lot of clients hitting
हाँ
the web application.
तो
So
क्रैश हो जाएगा सर्वर।
there's chances of crashing,
हाँ
right? So
तो डिवाइड हो जाता है, लोड बैलेंसर डिवाइड कर देता है।
so load balancer, what it will do, the people will think that this is the web server, a load balancer actually, network load balancer, it's a public IP, it's a public facing. This is a client from where the client is requesting. So it will hit to this, right? But this node network load balancer will distribute the traffic to the backend web servers. Okay. So the efficiency will increase, the performance will increase. There will be fault tolerance. Like if one server fails, the other server will pick up like that. Okay. So that is the benefit of this. All right.
Yes.
So it will be like that. Okay. So if one server fails, the other server will there, and if one server fails also, the application doesn't stop. That is the thing. And if all servers are working, then it will get distributed, it will be faster. This is a typical scenario for web application hosting. In one subnet, you are going to put web servers. In other subnet, you are going to put the SQL server. And the people from outside the network, they are allowed to use only this subnet, right? There's only one firewall. But if they try to access the backend, like SQL server is another firewall. So there's double protection. Clear? Meenal and Rufi, clear?
Yes, sir. So one more thing I wanted to ask you that there is a web server on which the applications are there.
Hmm.
However, there are also
Hmm.
there are app servers, there are web servers, and there is another server on which the SQL is loaded,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
what that is called as SQL server?
Yeah, the server on which SQL is loaded is called SQL server. And web
What is?
server is on which the applications are loaded,
Oh, yes,
right?
yes.
Just a minute, I'll change the device settings so that
Can there be more than two web servers?
yeah, it depends on the load. This is a normal scenario nowadays, you know. It's a normal scenario where most of the servers, web application, the popular web applications are behind the load balancer only. Okay. These are, these are very,
More than two also available.
yeah, it's up to us. In the cloud, we can specify how many we want. It all depends on us. And this network load balancer, but we also have uh, application load balancer, no? Web application load balancer. It works at layer number 7. This load balancer works at layer number 3, network layer. But nowadays we have application gateways, which you'll study in Azure. That works on layer number 7. So that is more popular. Okay. Then we talked about the VPN. So VPN is a, what is the single line answer for VPN? Rufi, can you tell me what is VPN actually, what it does?
So it is a virtual private network.
What exactly it does? Why it is used? Why the VPN is used?
So it is used to mask the data.
It is used to.
Mask the data.
connect office network from
No, it is used to. Yes, you tell me, Rian.
used to connect office network from home.
Yes, it is used to connect the office network from home.
So private network.
It is used to connect the office network from home. Okay, so that is the job of VPN server. It is used to connect the office network from home. Like people work from home, so they are using this VPN. Okay, so internet is used as a medium. Okay, Rufi, clear now? Or
Yes, sir.
VPN can also be used to connect. Nowadays, a very common scenario, like most of the companies, they have network which is on premises. So this is an on premises network infrastructure, and they have cloud also. So they want to connect to the cloud. So any new resources they are taking on cloud only. Public cloud such as Azure, AWS, Google. Okay. So nobody is buying new physical servers nowadays. So what they're doing, they're bridging the two. The on-premises network, we can call it as private cloud, and Azure cloud is your public cloud. So you connect the two with the help of VPN.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's like extending your network in the cloud. Getting, so it's called hybrid cloud, mix of public and private cloud. So we call it as hybrid cloud.
Yes, sir.
Getting?
Yes, sir. Hybrid cloud.
Yeah. So that is called as hybrid cloud. Okay. So there's a what you do is you set up a VPN tunnel between this and that, between the two. So when you set up a VPN tunnel, then it becomes like a permanent connection. So you can seamlessly access the servers on the cloud as if they are on the in your office premises only. It will feel, you will feel as if it is in the office premise. So there is seamless access. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
And there's another type of connection also nowadays, which is like if your company has got offices at different locations, it's a multinational company, so we can set up cloud services at different location. If your office is in India, obviously you want to take servers which are in Azure, but in Indian locations. So the latency is less. If your office is in US, you will take servers there in US location, and but we want to connect the two. So we can connect the two also like that using VPN gateway, or there's one more method which is called as VPN peering. Okay, peering. So these are three ways in which you can connect. Point to site. Point to site is like work from home. Site to site is like your office network connects to the cloud network. That is site to site. And other is virtual network peering, when all the branch offices are on the cloud.
Yes.
So that is called a peering. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Clear to you, Minal?
ये इसका हमने
Yes,
ये
sir. It is clear. I'll just make a note of it. 1 minute. Which one you were calling?
Sorry.
So I'll just make a note of it. 1 minute. Point to site is
Work from home.
1 minute. Point to site, work from home.
Hmm.
And site to site VPN, sir.
Site to site is your office network connects to the network on cloud. That is side-to-side VPN. I said it is a hybrid cloud.
Office network. Sorry, can you repeat? So once again, for side to side VPN, office network connects to.
The cloud network. We set up a VPN tunnel from office network to the cloud network. So there's a permanent VPN tunnel. So it is like extension of office network.
The last one is virtual network peering. Okay. Um, it is used to connect two or more virtual networks.
Hmm. Yes, if you have one more network in the cloud in another location, so you want to connect the two. Like you have one network in Asia region or one office in Asia region, and you have another office at say US region. Then we want to connect the two, right? So that is virtual network peering.
Last one.
Yes, so that is easiest way to do is that.
Yes,
Okay.
लॉन्ग डिस्टेंस के लिए वर्चुअल नेटवर्क पेयरिंग होता है.
Hmm.
So all the multinational companies, they must be using the virtual network peering then, because they all are like, in different countries in Europe and
Yeah, yeah.
US, and then they have their
That
branches
is
in different
easiest.
countries.
That is easiest to connect and recommended.
Yeah.
So it has become so easy to operate nowadays, right? Irrespective of geographic locations. So cloud has made it very easy to operate, to control, to security and everything. And this is the requirement nowadays because people are working from phones, from tablets, from different locations. The offices are worldwide, the customers are worldwide. So we need such kind of facilities. And cloud is the ideal solution for that.
Yes.
Okay. ठीक है.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Now, then we have one more way to connect is uh,
Azure Express route.
Azure Express Route. What is Azure Express Route? Can you tell me?
Special lease
It is
line
like a lease line, sir.
service providers to connect on premises. वो वायर ये करते हैं क्या वो ऑप्टिकल वायर
Hmm?
यूज करते हैं क्या और ये इसके लिए नेटवर्क प्रोवाइड करने के लिए लीज पे लेते हैं ऐसा
लीज पे लेते हैं हम लोग.
मतलब वो डेटा ट्रांसमिशन के लिए लीज पे लेते हैं.
Hmm. We take special telephone line from company that is where that is used to connect to the cloud. So that is known as express route. It's fast and most reliable. Okay. Because some people they cannot what you say trust the these lines, you know, the VPN connection and thing. They cannot trust. So that's why we they go for express route. It's faster also.
Is it expensive?
It will be expensive, yeah. Okay. Now we go to the next thing. So what I am teaching you now is the general cloud terminologies, right? What cloud has to offer in terms of networking products that we are looking at, right? So we have something called as content delivery network, CDN. So what CDN does is it is like a cache location that we can create close to the customer or client. Okay, Rufi, do you know what is cache? Rufi, cache. Rufi,
What? Yes, sir.
what is cache? This cache locations. Cache locations is what?
CHCH.
Cache. ये cache location दिख रहा है ना यहाँ पर लिखा हुआ. So what is the meaning of that?
H.
For assets that is converted into cash.
Sorry?
For assets which are converted into cash.
No, it has got nothing to do with for that kind of cache actually.
Temporarily stored data by servers. Temporary storage.
अभी क्या होता है कि caching is yes temporary storage like the drinking water, okay, which comes in your house. Nowadays you don't get 24 hours drinking water supply, do you?
No.
It will come only for some time.
With
So
some
what do
time.
you do?
We store.
We store. That is called caching,
Okay.
right? So caching is general terminologies. So like drinking water, you will cache. Even the household items, you know, you require household items every day. So are you going to go to market every day to bring the household items? Yes or no?
Hmm. Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir.
नहीं मतलब for if we bring in bulk then we will store.
Yes, Meenal, what do you do? Household
So we
items?
store we buy the grocery once in a month and we store it
Yeah, you'll
for the
buy it
rest of
once
the
in a month and store it, right?
Yes.
So we don't want to go to market every day, right?
हाँ.
Yes, sir.
So that is what caching means.
So we get options sometimes, that pop up, clear your cache kind of.
Sorry?
We get that pop up sometimes in Internet Explorer itself, that clear your cache, where we go into internet setting.
Hmm.
Yes, so that is something, some data has been stored and then that can be deleted and more space can be created.
No, caching is same. Like caching could be. I can give you example of another caching. Let's say uh, the drinking water is available downstairs. We are on the second floor. So every day the one person from office goes down to get the water. So he'll bring one glass of water or he'll bring a bucket full of water.
Bucket full of water.
Why?
Because बार-बार नीचे जाना नहीं पड़ेगा उसको.
So they don't have to go downstairs. So he'll bring bucket full of water. No? Once he goes down, he'll bring a bucket full of water. Correct?
Yes.
So that he doesn't have to go down every day.
Then so what
Right?
are we actually storing? So this is like this is to store some information, right? Or
Yeah, so same thing. Supposing the web server is in US and we are in India.
yeah,
So every time we want to access something, the request goes to US server. From there, the data is going to come. So it will be latency will be there. To
Right.
reduce the latency, what you will do, you will create a CDN, which is close to your location. So it will cache it there. So next time when you want, it will serve the data from there only.
सर ये मतलब गूगल ड्राइव जैसा है
गूगल ड्राइव नहीं, ये
नहीं
नॉर्मल है.
नॉर्मल है मतलब गूगल
जैसे
ड्राइव
कोई
में
जो whatever searches, whatever information you need on a regular basis. So what you will do is you will cache it.
हाँ
Sir, can you
राइट
give one or two examples in terms of not like our water example, something like we use every day. Do you mean emails?
Huh?
So, some examples, if you can give some information that we access every day that we get from cache. Those that will be like emails are not one of them, right?
No, no, not that. Like you are supposing we have some website, web application which is running on US server, and it is giving me details about what are the what you say, what are the new products available. Okay. So when I hit it for the first time, it will be long time because it will go to US server and then the information will come. But if you have a CDN which is located nearby my place, so CDN it will get that information will get stored on the CDN as well. So next time when I ask, it will not go all the way to US. From CDN only it will give the information. And CDN is close to your place, right? Getting now?
Yes, sir. Now I'm understand.
Hmm?
Yes, sir.
So so information which you require on regular basis, it will come faster because a cache copy is available. A copy of that information is available to a server which is close to you. So that
And
is how it works.
does it get updated also at the real time?
Hmm?
Does it the information that is saved on the cache CDN, is it also getting updated real time? Because so for example, as you said, web application, if there is an update in the US server, will that also happen at the same time, real time on the cache location?
Yeah, internally it will manage. We don't have to go to that details, but mostly it will have some expiry time. Like after 24 hours, it will expire. So again, if you ask, it will again bring it from the main location and cache it. All
Okay.
right. So we don't have to really go into much details of that. So it is something which works. Okay, which works very effectively. All right. So all that intelligence is built into it. Like you're asking if there is update, what will happen. So there'll be some settings for all those things, right? You can have a lesser. Uh, you can increase the frequency of refresh. Instead of 24 hours, you can keep it for 2 hours, right? So frequency is going to be more like this. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Then समझा नहीं है इसका मीनिंग समझ में आ गया ना इसका
Yes, sir.
CDN understood it. Then we have something called as application gateway. So application gateway is what it works with the
Load balance.
application load balancer, right?
Yes.
So application that network load balancer works on the network layer, whereas this one works at the application layer.
Right.
ये एप्लीकेशन लेयर पे चलेगा वो नेटवर्क लेयर पे चलता है एप्लीकेशन लेयर पे चलता है all right. So this is very popular because most of the applications are web application, right? तो application layer पे अगर load balancer है तो अच्छा है तो हम लोग सीखने वाले इसके बारे में Then next is Let's talk about the compute services now. What are the compute services available in Azure? So take a snip of this. Application load balance इसका लिया ना, application gateway के ले लिया ना.
Yes, sir. One.
Next is compute services. Let's talk about compute services now. In compute services, we have something called virtual machines. So we can buy, we can take, uh, you can install or create number of different types of virtual machines. So for depending on your requirement, you can choose their models which are there. So you can take a snip of this.
Sir, you can go
This
back to
should
the previous slide for 1 second. I'll just.
previous slide, just
Yes.
previous slide.
Yes, one. It'll take just like a few seconds and take. Yes, sir. Next slide.
So these are the different types of virtual machines which are there. Hmm. General purpose, compute optimized, memory optimized, storage optimized, graphical work के लिए GPU, high performance machines, right? So different models are available. Depending on what is your requirement, you can go for those, right?
जीपीयू एंड वो जो हमारा ग्राफिक्स कार्ड होता है ये दोनों सेम रहते हैं.
Graphical application के लिए you will go for that,
हाँ.
GPU based. For that you will go for GPU like this, okay? Fine. Done. Then we have something called Azure region.
Sir,
Now
what
what
is the
is
full form of GPU?
GPU stand for graphical processing unit. Graphical processing unit.
Okay, sir.
Now let's see what is Azure region. Just give me a minute. Now just take a snip of this. Just read what is given there in meantime. Rufi, you're listening, right? Rufi?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Okay, so we're talking about the Azure regions, right? And availability zones. So actually the Azure network is divided into number of Azure regions. Okay. And so you can see that in this particular picture, there are three availability zones. Each zone is like a separate facility, okay, connected by links. They're interconnected. Zone has got one or more data centers in that, right? So you can say that this region has having three zones. Availability zone 1, zone 2, availability zone 3, like this. So three zones are there. All right. So composed of three distinct physical and logical locations within an Azure region. So ability zone provide synchronous replication of application and data. So it is possible that you can store some you can have server in each of the zone, and it can synchronize between the two replica. It will create a replica. So supposing one zone fails because of some disaster, so its replica is in the other zone. That is the meaning of that. So that is what we call it as availability zone. Clear?
Sir, what does cooling means here? It is mentioned here that it is equipped with independent power, cooling, and networking.
So cooling what? That servers require cooling, na, the air conditioning and all. तो ऐसा तो नहीं होगा ना कि supposing the cooling system for one zone fails, so it will not affect the other zones. Okay. This construct eliminates the data center as a single point of failure and reduces the exposure to localized failure events. So just understand the term synchronous replication. Synchronous replication मतलब इधर कुछ change हुआ तो उधर दूसरे zone में भी immediate change होगा. It's like two people, two friends or two brothers or two brothers sisters, they're eating food. तो एक ने निवाला खाया तो दूसरा भी निवाला खाने तक रुकेगा वो, तब जाके that's called synchronize. So if you store some information in one zone, other zone will also get the same information, replicate हो जाएगा तुरंत ही. Getting clear, Meenal and Rufi?
Yes, sir. So
Yes,
in Azure only we have like three types of availability zone.
Three types नहीं, three है इसमें, ये as an example.
Okay.
The example which is shown here, in this we have three zones. Availability zone 1, availability zone 2, availability zone 3. We have three
So,
zones. As an
this is
example, we have
how
three zones.
so Azure has basically three availability zones for the data set for data centers. So the data
No,
stored at
no,
three
no, no,
different
no,
locations.
no, madam, no. The whole Azure network is divided into number of regions. There could be one Asia specific region, there can be US Central region, there can be, you know, US West region, then African region. So there are many regions. The whole Azure cloud is divided into number of regions, Azure regions, and each region can have number of ability zones. And each ability zone can have one or more data centers. It's like that.
Okay, sir. Now I understood.
Clear?
Yes.
And this availability zone within a region, they are logically connected. वो दिख रहा है ना, connection दिख रहा है ना?
Yes, sir.
We can have, for fault tolerance, we can have a server placed in one availability zone and its data gets replicated to other availability zone.
Yes, sir. Replication, I understand. But I also wanted to know that, for example, there's a failure at one of the availability zone. Does that mean that will not affect the other two, right?
हाँ, that's what they have isolated ना, सब cooling उसका they are independent.
Uh,
Everything is independent about that. So they are not connected in any ways. So that the disaster at one point will not affect the other point.
Only replication happens at the same time for all of them.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, sir.
So you will come across all of these when we study, right? You will come across all of these. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
The next thing here is पानी आधा ही थे ना. So virtual machine scale sets. What it is, let us understand that also. VSS is called. Virtual machine scale sets, it is an auto load balancer. So automatically the application instances are increased or decreased based on the load of the user requests. So you remember I had taught you scale in, scale out, scale up, scale out, scale in, scale out, scale up, scale down.
हाँ,
Do you remember what is that? Scale in, scale out, scale up, scale down. Do you remember?
Sir, it means the whatever amount of memory or space that is occupied, it increases or decreases depending on the requirement or the number of users.
That flexibility is there. I had given you one example of chariot, which is pulled by an horse. अभी वो
हाँ,
हॉर्स
हाँ,
उसको चैरियट को
नंबर ऑफ
फा,
हॉर्सेस
फास्ट भगाने का तो क्या करेंगे आप उसको
नंबर ऑफ हॉर्सेस इंक्रीज कर
you will
देंगे.
increase the number of horses. That is called a scale out.
Yes, sir.
So virtual machine scale set is that you have this is a special type of virtual machine which will create its duplicates when the threshold is crossed automatically. Sorry. मतलब जैसे as soon as it crosses 90% utilization for half an hour, automatically एक और एक machine spin हो जाएगा. It will create one more virtual machine of its own kind. That is called scale out. And the utilization becomes less for some time, so automatically one or two machines will become less. Getting?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
समझ में आया मीनल?
Yes, sir.
Rufi?
Yes,
So
sir.
this is a very popular application of cloud. Okay. So those applications which require this, they don't want the performance to go down anytime, so they can use this VSS, virtual machine scale set, VMSS, virtual machine scale set. Clear?
हाँ, yes, sir.
Okay, great. Then we have something called as app service functions. So this is also again very important feature of Azure cloud.
So इसका previous वाले का एक बार skip ले लो फिर वही आएगा.
इसका स्निप नहीं लिया लो.
नहीं, इसको ले लो. ले लो. Yes, sir.
So app service functions. function is a small program which is used to perform a particular task. इसका स्निप ले लिया आपने?
Yes sir, yes.
Just a second, just give me a minute. So app server service functions. Function is small program which is used to perform a particular task. So normally every function is like this. Function written in Java, Python, C Sharp, etc. You give some input, it gives some output. So we can trigger a function based on some event. It is also run as a schedule like hourly job. App service function can run serverless. So actually, if you want to write a small piece of code in cloud, we want some action to be performed based on some event happening. So what used to happen is we were required to take some server in the cloud, server लेने का data center में उसको host करने का, then do everything on that. So it was a very big खर्चा. It was expensive affair. Okay, so but nowadays the cloud is giving you these app service functions where you write a function in any programming language and you give him. So it will work like a server. It's a serverless architecture. You don't have to set up any server. Just you have to subscribe to app service function. So it will have some URL, some input point like by which you can activate the function. So when you activate it, it delivers the result. It will do some activities. So that is called as app service function. So it's a very, very, very interesting feature of cloud. Based on some event, supposing कोई backup चल रहा है, backup complete हो गया, उसके बाद then you want to run some function, so it will send an alert and it will send it to the app service function. It will execute some job, it will do some task, it will send some alerts like that.
Yes sir.
For example, अभी जैसे हमने डेमो का पोस्ट बनाया ना हमने, उसमें I was just wondering कि उसमें supposing people scan and they register, it goes in the database, but how do I know that some activities happened there? तो उसके लिए we can have something like this, some app service function which will, as soon as something happens, it will just trigger and it will send an alert. Getting me? So
Yes
we
sir.
need something like that. It's clear now?
Yes
Hello?
sir. Yes sir.
Yes, sir.
Meenal and Rufi understood what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Hmm. समझता है ना रूफी मिनल रूफी
Yes, sir.
रूफी है क्या मीटिंग में
Sir, he's on hold.
हाँ
He is on hold, sir.
इज ऑन होल्ड होल्ड पे भी रहते क्या ऐसे क्या है ऑन होल्ड जस्ट रूफी कैन यू हियर मी Rufi, can you hear me? I can't hear you. You are on hold. I think you can hear me, but I can't hear you. Can you reconnect again? If that is a there's a problem, you can reconnect. Just reconnect, Rufi. I can't hear you. Can you hear me now, Rufi? Can you say something?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
होल्ड पे कैसे गए थे? होल्ड पे दिख रहा था.
पता नहीं सर.
Okay. Okay. Can you see the screen? App service function.
Yes, sir.
So in short, app service function is a function which you can write in any suitable programming language of your choice, and it will do a job based on some trigger. Okay, so we don't have to set up any server for that. That is the beauty of this app service function, serverless architecture. So if you want to do some activities in the cloud, you want to write a small function, you can always do that by using a app service function. Yeah. Then, so what I'm teaching you is an overview of this Azure. Okay, so it's a very important presentation which we are discussing. But you please revise all these things. These terminologies you should remember. So this is what is showing here, what this app service function does. So take a snip of this, please.
सर वो सी और उसके बाद हैशटैग क्या है वो
C sharp.
सी शार्प
C sharp.
वो कोई कोडिंग लैंग्वेज है
हाँ, coding language.
और एफ शार्प भी है
F sharp.
सी प्लस प्लस जैसा रहता है
C sharp is, yeah, is like C++. It's a .NET language. So function apps are part of Azure App Service and can contain one or more Azure functions. So what are function apps? Are part of Azure App Service and can contain one or more Azure functions. So हमने ये Azure App Service देखा ना. This is what Azure App Service functions. So this is, so functions are part of Azure App Service. App Service is a bigger service and function apps is a part of that, right? So Azure functions can run code that is written in C sharp, F sharp, JavaScript, Python or Java. So these are like, normally these are the different languages which people are using to write code. So we can use any of these languages to do the job, right? So Azure functions can be triggered by a schedule or by an outside event like HTTP call, a new blob. Okay. So we can always do that. Okay. So Azure functions are that basically. So can be triggered by a schedule or by an outside event. Schedule मतलब we can specify कि इतने time को trigger होना चाहिए function, ये चलना चाहिए. We can schedule it. Okay, a particular task should happen at that particular at the particular time. So that is called a schedule. Okay, or an outside event like an HTTP call or a new blob in Azure storage or something else. HTTP कॉल मतलब आपने कोई URL टाइप किया और URL से वो फंक्शन चलेगा.
हाँ
जैसे आप कोई वेबसाइट कैसे ब्राउज करते हो उसके लिए URL आते हो ना, www something. Similarly you can put a URL and with that it can call a function
हाँ
or a new blob in Azure storage or something else. कोई भी इवेंट कि नया ब्लॉब क्रिएट हो गया और कुछ डेटा एंट्री आ गई तो ये ट्रिगर होके ये फंक्शन रन कर सकता
हाँ
है. वही मैंने आपको बताया ना, जिससे मैंने आपको एक प्रैक्टिकल एग्जांपल बोला कि सपोजिंग वन स्टूडेंट इंक्वायर्स एंड ही स्कैन्स द कोड. हमारा कोड स्कैन करके उसने रजिस्टर किया. सो हाउ वी विल नो दैट सम न्यू एंट्री हैज कम.
हाँ yes.
सम ट्रिगर हैज टू कम, राइट?
हाँ ये न्यू एंट्री.
हाँ, तो we can associate with that, like, so it's very useful. Getting Minal and Rufi.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Minal, are you there?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
आपकी आवाज बहुत कम आ रही मिनल. क्या आज क्या आज खाना खाया ना क्या दोपहर में क्या? हेलो,
Sir,
खाना खाया ना आज दोपहर में?
no, sir. Time नहीं मिला आज.
हाँ, इसलिए आवाज देखो बराबर पहचान.
Sir, what is this? You can also use bindings to output value to services like Cosmos DB. What does this thing mean?
अरे बता रहा हूँ ना, एक एक करके बता रहा हूँ
अच्छा,
मैडम.
okay, okay. Sorry,
कुछ
sir.
नहीं, एकदम आगे
I
पहुंच
thought
जा रहे
आप आगे पहुंच गए.
आप. You are going directly ahead.
HTTP call is. So, what is a blob?
Blob storage. Blob is like to store unstructured data. There's a blob. We'll study about the Azure storage. That time you will know. There's blob storage.
To store unstructured data.
Blob is used to store unstructured data. Is of three types: structured, semi-structured, and unstructured. Structured means SQL type of data. Semi-structured means key value pairs. And unstructured is like your images, your documents. So they are called as unstructured data. Getting?
Yes, sir.
So this is how it works.
Okay, sir. The unstructured data is stored in blobs.
Unstructured what?
Data.
Hmm.
Okay, sir.
Yes, it's stored in blobs. Correct. You're right. Unstructured data is stored in blobs. Absolutely. So you can use bindings and Azure functions to get the input values from outside services like Azure Storage. Binding means you associate the Azure function with the Azure Storage. Same मैंने आपको example दिया ना ऐड का. Azure Storage में कुछ गया तो it's a binding to that function. It's bound to that function. As soon as some entry comes, it will trigger that function. That function will do something, right? You can also use binding to output values to service like Cosmos DB. So you can ये इनपुट के लिए भी बाइंडिंग ले सकते हैं. मतलब जैसे कुछ एजोर स्टोरेज में आया तो दिस फंक्शन विल ट्रिगर. एंड आउटपुट के लिए भी ले सकते हैं. जैसे कुछ आया तो जैसे कोई रिजल्ट आ गया. इफ यू वांट लाइक can use also bindings to output values to services like Cosmos DBs. So it can do some process depending on the event, and the result it can store in Cosmos DB. Cosmos DB is another type of storage in Azure for storing non this semi-structured data. Semi-structured data store करने के लिए Cosmos DB use होता है. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So function apps can run in the app service plan just like other app service types or serverless. So it's all serverless. That means you don't have to set up any servers. तो एक जमाना था जब हमको हर एक चीज के लिए सर्वर सेटअप करना पड़ता था. अभी कोई सर्वर सेटअप करने की जरूरत नहीं है. Getting me? So that is the beauty of this. Clear?
Yes, sir.
It's a good thing. Hmm?
Yes, sir.
Next is Azure Container. Standard pack Azure Container क्या होता है वो आपको समझना है. It's a very useful thing. What is a container? You have to understand. See, all this information I have compiled myself. ये सारा मैंने compile किया हुआ है. To make it easy for you. जो भी मैं आपको present कर रहा हूँ, everything is compiled by myself, right? बहुत सारे diagrams मैंने students को सिखाते सिखाते बनाया ये सब. ताजा ताजा बनाया है सब. बोलते हैं ना ताजा ताजा रोटी, ताजा ताजा वड़ा पाव, वैसा बनाया है सब. So first you understand what is a container. So this picture will help you to understand what is a container. इसमें आपको ये समझना है कि virtual machine भी क्या है. See, we are going to make virtual machines in Azure. So what is virtual machine, that you have to understand. And what is container in context to that? What is a container? Even that you have to understand. Okay, Rufi, are you ready to understand? इसका snip ले लो पहले चलो.
Yes, sir.
Take a snip of this, then I'll explain to you exactly what is container. It's very important to know about this. Okay, so first one is host with VM. Virtual machine कैसे चलता है? This host machine, this blue color जो है इसका actual physical machine, right? ये जो box दिख रहा है ना आपको, this is a virtual machine. उसका operating system में अलग से है. And this is a powerful physical machine. उसमें हम 3 virtual machine बना रहे. So it is going to use the resources from this physical machine to create these 3 virtual machines. But each virtual machine will have its own operating system, like Windows and apps that you install. Operating system, app. So when you talk about virtual machines, actually we are talking about this. We're actually talking about this, right? So this is your virtual machine. When we talk about a virtual machine, we talk about this, right? But when we talk about the container, now this is a new concept. Container में क्या होता है कि same thing, but instead of virtual machine, we have containers now. Containers contains only app environment, doesn't have operating system. It is using the operating system of the host. Host का operating system share कर रहा है ये, right? तो इससे क्या होगा कि it is this container can be started, stopped, operated faster. Virtual machine just like a physical machine. उसको start वो हाथी जैसा like an elephant, it will start and it will stop. But container is like, just application. So it will run faster, it will open faster, it will work faster. So this is the principle of container. Is this clear now?
Yes, sir.
So nowadays many of the applications run in a containers instead of virtual machines. So if you want to run any application, we use containers rather than virtual machine. Nowadays, this is the trend. This is a new trend, you can say, which is happening. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Rufi and Minal understood the concept of container.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this is the more information about this is here. So what is Azure Container? A standard package of software known as container bundles and application code together with related configuration files and libraries and with the dependencies required for the application to run. This allows developers ID pros to deploy applications seamlessly across environments.
Yes, sir.
तो उसका जो भी एप्लीकेशन का जो भी चाहिए हमको, so you need the application code, we need the related configuration files and libraries, it requires any dependencies, जो भी चाहिए सब उसमें बोलते हैं ना पूरा। आप ट्रैवलिंग को जाते हैं तो पूरा पैक बना के लेके जाते हैं ना, सब कुछ उसमें कंटेनराइज बन के जाते हैं ना,
जी जी।
जो भी चाहिए उधर से मिलना चाहिए, वैसे इसका है। तो
हाँ
कंटेनर मतलब एप्लीकेशन का कंटेनर है, उसको जो जो चाहिए खाने के लिए जो भी लगता है सब उसमें भर के दिया है, तो उसको डिप्लॉय करना आसान होगा कहीं भी।
हाँ।
हम्म? नहीं तो ये मिसिंग है, ये चाहिए, वो चाहिए बोलते रहेगा, मुझे ये भी चाहिए वो भी चाहिए, चलेगा नहीं।
हाँ बिल्कुल।
सो कंटेनराइज एप्लीकेशन इज दैट, वो इंडिपेंडेंट है।
हाँ
इट्स लाइक अ एप्लीकेशन गोइंग फॉर ट्रैवल, घूमने के लिए जा रहा है तो
हाँ
उसको कहीं भी बिठा दो चलेगा उधर।
हाँ।
समझा क्या?
यस सर।
क्लियर? मीनल, मीनल will like this idea,
Yes,
right? Meenal understood?
yes, sir. Sir, where is container based? So we know that the virtual machine, uh, it is like we have a there's a virtual machine we understand. There's a on-premise we understand. But I wanted to know these
What you
containers.
understand? What you
So
understand?
we
Sorry.
understand that about virtual machines. So there's a operating system in which different virtual machines are created, right? Uh, Version one, two, three. However, where is this container created actually, sir?
वो भी कोई मशीन में ही क्रिएट होंगे ना कंटेनर, बट वो कंटेनर्स को मैनेज करने के लिए देयर आर सम सर्विसेज अवेलेबल। ओके, डॉकर करके रहता है, डॉकर या कुबरनेटिस आपने नाम सुना होगा, तो विल बी स्टडिंग समथिंग अबाउट इट इन दिस पर्टिकुलर कोर्स, कुबरनेटिस। तो इट विल मैनेज ऑल द कंटेनर्स, you can create containers, it will manage everything about the containers. Okay.
Yes, sir.
यस सर।
Okay, so good. So we did a lot of topics today, so you can just go through all of these and be ready for the next class. Just a second.